Hi everyone, I am back. Did you miss me? How are you guys? Well, if you don't remember me, I am Bari from Team TalentZ, and today we are back with yet another session for you guys. So, our session today is about communication skills and their importance. And for that, we have with us Mr. Mayank Ahuja. He is the senior HR manager with Blackberry Menswear. He has over 14 years of experience with multiple firms, and he has helped them in attracting and retaining the talent that has helped the firms grow. So give me 1 minute while I get him to join us. Hello, Mr. Ahuja. Am I audible?
Hello, Miss Pari. Yes, you're audible.
How are you today?
I'm very good, Miss. By God's grace. How are you, Miss Pari?
I am good. It is a pleasure for us to have you here today. Before we start the
Like,
session, I'm so sorry. Please
no, no.
continue.
Likewise, Miss. I'm also pretty happy to come over here. Pretty excited too.
So before we start the session, would you like to tell the viewers a little bit about yourself?
Of course. I'm Mayank Ahuja. I have around 14 years of experience in HR. So for the last 14 years, I've been really enjoying my work over here in Gurgaon and across different industries. I've worked in IT industry, then NBFC, then insurance, and currently I'm into the retail. So this has been really a wonderful journey with good amount of highs and lows. So that's as of now. Currently I'm working with Blackberrys.
Okay, so now I would like to just jump in and ask the first question, which is what really made you pursue a career in HR? Like, what was your journey? How did you find that this is something you want to do?
Actually, this is something. This is more than a career. This is my passion. Most right from the beginning, I realized at the time of my graduation that I'm a people's person. So even at that point in time, I was very much into people, not only of my own class, but in different classes also. I was pretty much aware of what is happening, what was happening over there. I was very much interested. Later on, I realized that this is if I become an HR, it'll be good for me. It will be easier for me to carry on with that. So I chose HR, and then when I came to HR, so I got to know that it is not only restricted to the chit chat or to have a good communication with people, but then to establish a very good the policies we have to make. I mean, everything that we do for people is going to be that's HR. So that is how I chose HR and I landed in HR. And of course, I've spent some good amount of years over here.
Definitely. What would you say are the most meaningful or impactful experiences or lessons that you've learned in your career so far?
Right. A few, I'll talk about 2 to 3 lessons only here in what I've learned in my 14 years of journey. That is one thing is that from my seniors I've learned and some I've learned from my own experience. One thing is that I've learned is if you want to really live and sustain in the corporate world, then you have to follow one small formula that is P into P into P. Uh, so what is P into P into P? The first P is means performance. So no matter where you go, wherever in whatever industry you work, performance is of extreme importance. There are times when you are recommended somewhere. There are times when you are given some kind of reference from somebody else. But then performance is something that matters the most. So performance has to be there. That is a hygiene to stay in any kind of organization. I'm sorry. Second is projection. So whatever you are doing in your job, whatever you're doing in anywhere, in maybe you're even at home or in the corporate world, then projection is pretty important. So if you're doing very good and your projection is not good, somebody else will project your work, and that person will take the credit and take. I mean, that person will get the benefit. So it is important for you also to understand how to project. So that is a skill that you have to develop over a period of time, and it is also possibility that while you are studying in your colleges also in if you are in a college or wherever, I mean this skill should be of prime importance, that this is something that you have to learn. The third P comes here is the perception. So no matter how good your performance is, no matter how good your projection is, if the perception of you is not good in amongst the people, amongst the relevant people, then also it is not going to be good for you. So any P if becomes zero, then it will become the total result will become zero. So we have to ensure that all three P's are in place, and we are constantly focusing on all these P's. So this is my first learning. Second learning is that the hard work has no alternative at all. People say that instead of doing hard work, do smart work. Of course, smart work has its own importance, but then in any case, hard work has no alternative whatsoever. We all have to work hard at different point in time. So at times we feel that okay, only I'm burning the midnight oil, everybody else is sleeping. But then we all have to do. If you want some kind of success, some kind of uh, uh, if you want some kind of upliftment in your life wherever you are, then some hard work is important. No alternative. Third thing I've learned here is that relationships are very important. So no matter which organization you are working with, no matter you like few people, you may not like few people, some people may like you, some people may not like you. At the end of the day, it all matters. The relationship matters a lot. So today you're working with company X, tomorrow you may not be working with them. But then leaving a company on a bad note, or maybe just saying bad words about the organization, about the people, is not going to help, because people are ones who are going to go a long way. So this is my third learning, which I believe that everybody should think about and implement in their lives.
Definitely, that is very true. And you explain it so simply. You broke it down into such simple words that I think everyone will, be able to understand this. That was great.
Thank
Um,
you.
now I will, go right into the topic. So,
Yeah.
topic is communication skills. So, firstly, I wanted to ask you, what is the difference between, someone who's fluent in English, speaking English, and actual communication skills?
Okay. So I'll tell you, communication is a vast thing. English is a subset of communication. So when we talk about communication, communication is not only a language. Everything that you do in front of others is your communication. For example, the kind of clothes that you wear, the kind of vehicle that you use, uh, and I just remember a song from a movie Rockstar. You may have seen that movie Rockstar, or maybe many people may have seen. There's a song in that movie which says, "जो भी मैं कहना चाहूँ, बर्बाद करें अल्फाज मेरे." Alfaz means words. So whatever that person wants to say, he is not able to say. So communication means whatever is there in your thoughts, you have to mirror those thoughts in somebody else's mind. So that is what you have. That is communication. And many a times people are not, even despite being good at English, people are not good at communication because they don't know how to communicate. So that is the thing. But that does not mean that English does not have its significance. English has its significance. It is of extreme value. When we talk about corporate world, people with good English, of course, backed by content, they the chances of them being a little on the higher side becomes higher. They get an edge over others, of course, if they are backed by content. So they have, if you have two people, both are backed by content, but one person is good at English, the other person is not very good at English, of course the person with good English will get an edge over the others. And when we are talking about communication, communication, as I told you, that wearing whatever clothes that the clothes that you wear, that is also a communication. Even you may have seen people who are traveling by air, they try not to remove the tag of the airlines that they have, that is there on their bag. That is also a communication that they have traveled by air. So communication is everywhere. So whenever you are in front of everybody else, and whatever you're doing, you're communicating that. And once you're not in front of people, and then what you're doing, that defines your integrity.
Very true. I definitely agree with that. Like you mentioned, one person, will get an edge if they're fluent in English, right? So now I
Yeah.
have a similar situation for you.
Hmm.
There are two people. One is fluent in
Hmm.
English, but their communication
Hmm.
skills are not that well developed. And the second person,
Hmm.
not so fluent in English, but
Hmm.
their communication skills are impeccable. Which one would you think will be able to give a more impactful message, and why?
It is pretty. We have to go back to the basics. The person with good, who's able to explain better is going to the person, not with the person, no, not the person who's good at communication skills, not the person who's good at fluent English. The person with good communication skills will have an edge over others. I have seen people in my life in different industries across banking, IT. They are not very good at English. They are not very fluent in English, but their communication is pretty clear, pretty clean and clear, backed by the content, as I said. they are much more successful than the people who are, see, English has its own significance, but then if you do not have content, then it will be very short lived. So short-lived things are not going to be good. You have to, I mean, when you are looking at your career, when you're talking about your job, then of course you have to think long term. And then long term, of course, communication skills have a bigger role to play than only English.
Okay, wow, that was the answer which I was expecting, but I love how you explained it. Um, Now I would like to ask you, in the corporate world, many a times you have to face problems, right? So how do you identify in what problem do you have to deal with diplomacy and tactfulness, and in what problems you have to be completely straightforward?
In what problems we have to be completely straightforward. I'll tell you, it has to be a mix of both. So when we talk about tact and diplomacy, so let's go a little deep into that. Why do we want to be tactful and diplomatic? Why? Because we want, once maybe I have to be diplomatic and tact to somebody, I want to ensure that there's a larger purpose to what I'm to the person I'm talking to, and I want to secure that larger purpose, and I do not want that person to feel bad about anything about. I have to be very, very careful with my words. So just to secure that larger purpose, I have to be diplomatic and tactful. So we see that when once people are talking to their clients, once people are talking to their superiors, when people are talking to their CXOs, they are more of diplomatic and tactful. But that does not mean that once we talk about when we are talking about being straightforward, straightforward simply does not mean being blunt. So there are people who think that straightforward means blunt. No, it does not mean blunt. There are times wherein you have to ask people to enhance their performance. So there you have to be straightforward. Of course, some other words have to be used, but then at the same time you can be graceful. So I am a firm believer of being graceful at all the times, being either when we are being diplomatic or we are being straightforward. So of course, when we are talking with our friends, when we are talking about with our when we are talking with our colleagues, then also even if we are being straightforward, being graceful is very, very important. We, even while being straightforward, we should choose our words. We should choose the right words so that they are not they should not hurt anybody else, or the other people should not mind that. And of course, at the same time, the purpose is also resolved.
Like you said, the person, you have to say it in a way that the person listens and they try to agree with.
Mhm.
So that reminds me of persuasive speaking. Could you explain to us a little bit about persuasive speaking and how it holds, a major value in the corporate world?
Persuasive communication holds huge value. I mean, it's not only in the corporate life or in the professional life, it's in the personal lives as well. We see that just as of now, in the last few days or few months, I have not seen much television. But I remember that whenever I used to see television, every ads that I saw was a persuasive communication. So if you see any ad of advertisements of a car or a bike or any vehicle, you will find kids in that. So the moment a kid sees that advertisement that a kid is there, so he'll also start asking his parents to buy that particular product. So be it a car or a product, so in whatever ads we have kids are going to persuade. So that is one thing. So persuasive communication holds a very, very big value in our corporate world also. And persuasive communication does not mean that keep asking somebody to do one or two things. So that will not help. Persuasive communication would mean, I'll just give you an example. There was, if you are in one department of an organization, maybe if you are in finance, and if you want to come into HR, so maybe a person will come up to the HR head, or that person will go to the finance head that I want to go into the HR. The person will say, of course, we'll see whenever, as of now, you do your job, and we'll see that when the job opening is there, and then we'll see that if your fitment is there. So at that point in time, your persuasive communication comes into the picture. Now, how will you do that? It's not that every day you have to go to your CEO or the finance head or the HR head. You'll start showing your interest in HR. So whenever there's a drive, maybe on a Saturday or a Sunday of hiring drive, you will volunteer that I want to come over there. I've seen people in my previous organizations who have done this thing and eventually landing up in the HR department because they were persuasive. So persuasive communication is extremely important, and of course we have to be very, very careful while doing this, so that whatever we want to communicate, it is communicated, and the other person, we are able to convince and persuade that person.
I Wow, that it's actually like the fact that you've actually seen it happen. I think
Yeah.
that the personal touch to it makes it, so much more understandable.
Thank you. Thank you.
So, one last time, I will just ask you, what is the major significance of communication skills? Just the gist of everything that we've talked about throughout the session. Um,
Yeah.
like a brief summary of everything that you've said. Could you please?
Of course, communication skills, as I said, that whatever we do in front of other people is our communication, be it the kind of watch that we wear, be it the kind of clothes that we wear, be it the kind of treatment we give to the people who are of same cadre, who are of the lower cadre, or who are of the upper cadre. So that everything that we do, clothes, ranging from your clothes to shoes to your hair, hairdo, everything is communication. So you and in fact even the social media, so we communicate. I'll tell you that I have used social media as a tool to communicate, and trust me, it has amplified my voice and it has given me a lot of good. I've even today, because I can't call everybody else here in my previous organizations, because I've catered to different organizations and different people. So once I on Facebook, I have on Facebook or LinkedIn or different platforms, link everywhere, I have so many friends which are connected with me since 2007 or before that. So whenever I say that, m- they have a image of me in their own mind. From maybe in 2007 I have met that person last time, but even today if I communicate this thing, so this communication goes to that person, the person who met me with me in 2007. So it and it amplifies. So whatever I am as a personality, I bring it to the table on Facebook or on the social media handles, and then that amplifies and that helps me big time. So communication plays a huge role in everybody's life, and it means that whatever we do, we have to be very very careful. Every action we do, it has to be, we have to think about it, that it is going to create some kind of impact, positive or negative. So uh, we have to be careful.
Every single thing you do is sending a message to the people who are watching you. Right.
Yes, yes. While people are watching me, if people are not watching me, then it comes. Then it is integrity.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay, wow. I think that was a wonderful session. I definitely learned so much. I'm sure our audience did as well. It was a pleasure having you with us, Mr. Ahuja.
Thank you so much, Ms. Pare. I want to say a few words about TalentZ. You guys are doing really, really good. I'm sure that there are many people around who are good, very good at their knowledge, with their knowledge, very good at their skills, but they may not have that kind of personality. And you guys are grooming them, and you guys are helping them. And of course, you're doing a very, very good job uh, by doing this. All the very best to you.
Thank you so much, Mr. Ahuja. That means a lot to see that you support us. Thank you so much. It was great having you with us. Um,
Likewise, Miss. Thank you so much for calling me here.
it was our pleasure. So, guys, I hope you really enjoyed that session. I know I did, and I hope you learned something as well. We will keep coming with a lot of such sessions and a lot more stuff. So, if you think we're doing something interesting, if you think it's something you can benefit from, please go and check out our social media profiles and drop a like on this video and subscribe to our YouTube channel. It was Buddy from Team TalentZ. Bye bye.